Hello, this is Mr. Ferranti at the Long Valley Middle School, and in this video we're going to show you how to use Google Drawings. In a previous video I showed you how to get to Google Drawings on your computer. We also showed you how to rename the file and also how to move the drawing to a specific folder, and also how to change the share settings. I'm going to start with the file pull-down menu in this video, and I'm going to actually pick up a new drawing just to start from scratch. And again, I would name that drawing right off the, right at the start of the project, and I would always give it a period number that I'm in. So if this was a 7th period class and this was the project name here, whatever that project would be, and then I would put my last name, first initial, and then I would make sure I change the share settings. So again, this is a review from a previous video, and I would change this here. In the case of our school district, I would want to change the link to WT Schools so that anybody at the WT Schools would be able to see my project. Okay, and then I would probably save this to a folder. Okay, so I'm going to move this to my drive. I have a folder for STEM class, so I'm going to put it in there. And I'm going to put it under the infographic folder that I created previously. Okay, so all of those things are pretty important when you start a project. They take a couple of minutes, but it's important not to forget that, because this is how you can find your projects to turn them in when they're due. Okay, now I have a new project I just started. So when I go to the File, Pull-Down menu, now what I want to do is set up my page setup. Page setup is where you can set the size of your sheet. So if I'm using a standard sheet size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, this page setup standard 4:3 ratio is going to work out just fine. Okay, what this is instead of an 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper, this is going to be a 1/2 inch smaller all around the paper to give it a border. So anything that you actually draw within these boundaries on this canvas will print. If I go back to that file page setup, and I can check down here, there's a couple of other default sizes that I can use for widescreen. So for things that are going to be just displayed on a computer screen, either one of these can be helpful. But I'm going to go to the custom, and you can see the custom, the size that I'm actually at with that 4:3 ratio is a 10 by 7.5. So that's 1 inch smaller than an 8.5 by 11 size sheet of paper, giving you a 1/2 inch margin all the way around your sheet. This way, anything you draw within your margins or within your canvas will print. I can change this if I was using a larger sheet size. I could use, like a 14 by 8.5, or I could make that actually 13 by 7.5. And then again, everything around up to the edge would be able to print. All right, so I'm going to just start with that sheet size. Now, there's a number of other tools in the file pull-down menu, but at this point, that's all we're going to look at. Okay, the next thing is your edit pull-down menu. You can see there's a few tools in there like copy and paste. So if you're not familiar with the shortcuts for all of these edits, right? Control Z is undo, Control Y is redo, paste, okay, cut, copy, all of these are in here. You have a view pull down menu, and that allows you to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, right now I'm set to fit on the page, but if I wanted to make this smaller, I can make that at 50%. The guides, if I hit show guides, you can see these are just guidelines. These will not print. They're invisible guidelines. They're just for you. And under that view pull down menu, you can add vertical guides and horizontal guides, and then you can just click and move them on your page, and you can see it uses the ruler at the top or on the sides. If I go back to guides and I add a horizontal guide, I can see how far up and down on the page I'm going. So you can set guidelines for yourself. Sometimes those are a nice way to help you lay out your project so that it's evenly spaced. So guides can be very helpful. So I'm just going to add one more. All right, let's see. Also, you can view full screen. You can always turn those guides off as well. Now, the insert pull-down menu is an important one. Okay, you can insert images from here. You can insert text boxes, shapes. You can insert tables, charts, diagrams, and word art. There's also lines, and there's a number of different line styles that you can use. Okay, so these are some really good tools, and we're going to be using a few of these. There's also the format pull-down menu, and this is where you can format your text. Right, you can change your line spacing, bullets and numbering. You can change your fill color. Okay, so there's a whole number of options in here. The arrange pull-down menu allows you to take shapes and pictures and lines and text and move them in front or in back of other shapes and objects that are on the page. You can align things, so if you're trying to line things up evenly, you can use that tool. It's very helpful. You could even group a bunch of different shapes together to make them one. Okay, there's a couple other tools that are helpful. I really like using this Explore tool. I encourage students to use the Explore tool when looking for pictures from the internet. This way you're automatically referencing your images right back to the source of the image. And we're going to come back and use that in a minute. And then finally, there's your help menu. The help menu is great. If you have any questions, you can always type that in and you will be able to pick something up. So if you're looking at how to insert a picture, you can insert an image from your drive or insert an image from photos, right? That help menu can be very helpful for you. And then there are some accessibility features built in so that you can take a look at these and use those if you find that they're necessary. And that's a review of the pull-down menus. Take a look at some of the other videos to get an understanding of how to use the tools that are in those menus. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.